Welcome to Spotlight. I'm your host, Rich Bontrager. Spotlight shines on amazing leaders, speakers, authors, and influencers that know who they are, along with the impact that they and their brands bring to their clients and to the world. Today, Carol Kaemmerer is our guest. Carol has been named one of the 6 top personal branding experts in 2022 by the American Reporter. Carol is also a professional speaker and author of the award-winning book, LinkedIn for the Savvy Executive. Promote your brand with authenticity, tact, and power. The book was published in the 2nd edition in 2021. Carol's book has won multiple awards, including Book Authority's Best LinkedIn Books of All Time Award, along with awards for book design and business career books from the International Book Awards. She has also been selected by the C-Suite Network as one of the top 100 best books for business. Carol specializes in the strategies for using LinkedIn as a professional branding and business development tool. Now, let's welcome the Spotlight. Here's Carol Kaemmerer. Welcome, Carol.
So much, Rich. It's great to be with you today.
Well, it's great to have you with us here today, Carol. You know, branding is all the talk, and that's what Spotlight is really all about. But your story is unique because you created your own brand and you help other leaders now create their own brands. But before all that happened, you say that you had to make a big business decision. It was about 20 years ago. You were in the marketing and communications area. But you say since doing that, looking back, that was one of the best things that could have ever happened to you to change career paths, jump out of that, because now you help other professionals build their own brands. Can you help unpack that just for a little bit for us?
Well, I had worked for 20 years for one client company. I provided marketing communications to a Fortune 500 company, and I worked with them to launch some of their first of kind therapies around the world. I really loved what I did, but when the company had hard economic times, they took a hard decision and they outsourced several of their functions, including marketing communications. All of a sudden, I realized I was out of business. So I took a look at my skills and what I needed. I began to understand more about LinkedIn. I studied it as a content area. And I reached out to people that had hired me for 20 years because all of them had lost their jobs. They liked what I did and what I said so much that they began sending me their people too. Their friends. I'm going, oh, I had no idea that was going to happen. I was just trying to find another job. But what I realized is that shining my branding brilliance on people instead of products gave me great joy.
So let me clarify here, Carol. The body of work that you're doing, the work that you're doing now at this point of your career, it's centered around helping people express their personal brand, their online space, because this is where the new first expression is actually being made. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Rich. People don't always understand that it's not the resume that gets them their next position. That used to be the case. Now it really doesn't matter what color vellum you use or what font, because people are finding you for your next opportunity online, on LinkedIn. It is the place where we move forward because of our brand. And so if you've got a skeletal profile, it doesn't advantage you.
So that profile must match the person when they're on camera, when they're on podcasts, and when they're on interview shows. It's all got to come together at that one point, correct?
Absolutely. So what I do is I align someone's presence online with their presence in person. Most of my clients shine like diamonds in the room. They are superlative people. They have people skills, they have charisma, they know how to bring it in a room. But online, their brand is skeletal. It doesn't shine with that know, like, and trust factor that I can build in for them. It doesn't showcase who they are, where they've been, and where they're going. And that's what I bring.
You bring it so well that the American Reporter has recognized you as one of the top 6 professional branding experts here in 2022 and to watch for in 2023. You've really created a niche for yourself besides your brand. It's because of the brand authority that you get to help other people with LinkedIn specifically.
You know, I am the brand authority for executive presence on LinkedIn.
So when it comes to skills of communication, do you work with those that they already know their voice, or do you help professionals actually find their brand voice?
For the most part, I would say that people understand some parts of their brand and they understand some parts of their voice. But when I reflect back, they are so impressed. It's like, oh, I guess I do come across that way. Oh, I guess, yes, that is part of my story. And so I'm not just a mirror. I'm a very educated mirror. And I know how to find even the pieces that they haven't named, put them in their story.
So what does that do when you help them craft their story? When you help them find that narrative? Is it like putting Humpty Dumpty back together again? What's it like for those executives that say to you, thanks, I now know my story?
It's very powerful. You know, many of the people that come to me are broken when they come. There is a trauma associated with being severed from one's employment, whether you retired naturally or it was done to you because of a merger and acquisition or downsizing or whatever. But there's a trauma there that makes it hard for people to remember who they were, to remember that they were always excellent. When I work with a senior level executive, I rehear the parts of their story. I stitch them together. I help them to rehear and re-believe, relearn their story, to heal by retelling it. So it's a very powerful, powerful thing that happens for some of my clients who are bereft. And when they leave, they have a new story to tell that includes their old story, and they know how to march forward.
Now that brings it all together. And now that they have their story, you help them with the expertise and professionalism as well. As it's really important because you work with the C-suite level people and those high level experts. But now that you've worked with them on their expertise, and now it's about being seen and heard on a whole new level, isn't it?
One of the things that I do is I teach them, to the extent that they're willing to learn, how to use the LinkedIn platform effectively to advance their goals, whether it is nurturing their most important contacts or cultivating their thought leadership. Whatever it is, there's a way to do it effectively on LinkedIn in a way that's not brash, that's not salesy, that has a polish to it. That's how I present in person, and that's how my people present. And so there's a good alignment.
So Carol, why are you so joy-filled and passionate about LinkedIn? What is it that flows through you and makes this your superpower within the greater business world?
Bringing my value and my expertise to my clients and to people who hear me, people who read my material, that fills me with joy because I know that they're going to go forward and do their good work in the world. When they have a poor LinkedIn profile, and for some reason they lose their job, if they are over 50, they will never get a new job unless they get some help on that profile, because that is the way that people are not only vetting candidates, but also sourcing them. And so it's so important. And I feel empowered to provide this information so that people can use it.
Carol Kaemmerer, author, speaker, LinkedIn expert. She helps leaders become aware of how to have their experiences and their brands come together on LinkedIn. Carol, how can people best get in touch with you, learn more about what you do and how amazing your services really are?
So the key to finding me online is knowing how to spell my name. Kaemmerer, Kaemmerer. Never use one letter when two will do. So you can find me on LinkedIn. Just type my name in. You can find my website. It's Kaemmerer, all one word, .com. And on my website, you can buy my book. You can buy my course. You can sign up for my free newsletter where my articles of the month appear. Lots of resources there for you. You can also find me on YouTube for some of my teaching. So that's the key. Carol Kaemmerer.
Carol Kaemmerer, thanks for being here on Spotlight. That's going to do it for this edition of Spotlight. I'm Rich Bontrager. Remember, Spotlight shines a light on amazing authors, speakers, leaders, and influencers that share their genius and their brand authority. Watch for more Spotlight interviews coming your way from Rock the Stage Media.